4, 3.
Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Brownrigg. I'm one of your hosts here on Nighttime, and welcome to episode 3, where we're going to be talking UCF soccer, as well as UCF football and how they've done last week, and an overall winners and losers in the last week of college football. So stick around because Nighttime starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Yes, and welcome back to Nighttime. And now, real quick, I would like to introduce my co-host, Maddie Glass, because it is her birthday tonight. Happy birthday, Maddie. She's 23 today. We love you, Maddie.
Okay, you didn't have to expose my age like that, but thank you for the welcome. And we're also here with Mason Myers. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm so excited. It's Maddie's birthday. This is my present to her. She's so glad I'm here today.
It's
She's
one
so
of the
excited.
greatest presents of all time.
Great
Okay,
present.
well, let's get right into the UCF men's soccer team. They have risen to number 5 in the United Soccer Coaches poll. It's their highest national ranking in program history. It's actually tied for it. Mason, what does this say about the program that they're ranked this high?
Being ranked number 5, it really says a lot for the program. It says like they're growing every day. They're getting better. It's building a name for UCF soccer. Like it's great.
I agree. This hot start that they had against Clemson, this is just solidifying that it was not a fluke. And now, on Friday, they're going to be playing number 4 West Virginia, so a top 5 matchup and the first Big 12 conference game for the Knights. Mason, what do you think that game is going to be like?
I think it'll definitely be tough, but if they pull this off, they'll be even better. Like people will know UCF soccer and be like, wow, they're not to be played with.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the first times we're actually having a top 5 matchup at UCF, so that's going to be really fun to watch. And then because this Knights team has been so good, we wanted to do a little nighttime player profile where we get to know the team better, and I want to start with Mason. Mason, take it away.
So I chose Robbie Sarnellis. He's a 5th-year senior. He's a transfer from UNF. He came to UCF in his junior year, and his junior year he played in all 17 of UCF's matches, starting 13 of them. In that season alone, he registered 1,329 minutes. Going on to his senior year, he played in 10 of UCF's matches, starting 5 of them. He scored his first goal as a Knight on 9/17 from roughly 40 yards out. That's almost midfield. And a little fun fact, his father actually played for UCF in 1981 to 1983.
Yeah, that's a really cool fact about his father playing. And I'm going to go into my player right away. It's Luca Dorado. The senior forward has been here since his freshman year, and he actually played locally at Montverde Academy and led them to, I believe, a 21-4-4 record his senior year. So when he joined the Knights, he was kind of a star right away. In his freshman year, he was named as Outstanding Offensive Player in the ACC, and then his next 2 seasons were even better. He scored 15 goals and 11 goals, which both led the team in both years. And now he's still on the team, and he's our best player, I would say, rising up the record books. He's sitting at 7th on the all-time scoring list, so he has 31 career goals, so he could rise up that and be one of the greatest UCF men's soccer players of all time. Tyler, who is your player that you want to highlight?
My player is a guy who I've become a bit of a fan of over the course of this season. It's Emmanuel Bam. You may have remembered me mentioning him before. Emmanuel Bam is a native of Ghana. He is from his hometown of Accra. And his path to UCF is very different from the other 2 players that have been mentioned so far. He was part of the Right to Dream Academy in Ghana, which is a Ghanaian youth soccer academy where young players from all ages, from little kids all the way up to under 18, learn the game of soccer. It was founded by a British man named Tom Vernon to try and bring the sport to Africa, and specifically Ghana. So he comes and joins the Knights as a sophomore, and before that, during his time, he scored over 36 goals and 18 assists in his time with the academy, playing for them. And a few fun personal things about him. He is a Chelsea fan of Chelsea FC, so unfortunate for him. Hopefully they'll be good. His favorite player and his inspiration to play soccer is French superstar Kylian Mbappe. And a fun little fact, he's a bit of a Swiftie. Some of his favorite songs, and he listens to quite a bit before games, I've been told. So I think that's a fun little interesting thing about Bam, and I hope to see him continue to rise over the course of this season.
Yeah, I agree. And then real quickly, I want to jump into our women's soccer team who are actually making history tonight. It is the first ever Big 12 game in school history. They're playing West Virginia, who are the defending Big 12 champions, but they're 2-4-2 on the season. Mason, what do you expect out of this matchup with West Virginia?
Just like I said for men's soccer, they're going to do great. Like, they're going to struggle. It's going to be hard, I'm not going to lie, but they will pull it off. And honestly, the women's team's better than the men's team, so I'm expecting better results, not going to lie.
Right now, the women's team has a 4-2 record. And then, Tyler, what do you, if they win this game, the first ever game in Big 12 history for UCF, what does that say about the school? What does that mean for the school?
I mean, it means tremendous things because UCF athletics as a whole was really questioned coming into the Big 12. Both our football team, basketball team, all our sports. So proving that we belong in this conference is a very big thing, and so to come out with a win right away, and my hope is a dominant win, hoping 2 or 3 goal differential, to show that we belong here and that we are here to stay.
I agree, and I think West Virginia they're obviously the defending Big 12 champions, but they've struggled this season. They've had a really hard schedule, already played 3 top 15 teams, But Mason, are you predicting a win for tonight?
Absolutely. Of course they're going to take W. We only take W's here. Sorry.
Tyler, what about you?
I am predicting a win. The reigning Big 12 champs, they are not the team they once were. Knights are going to get a win today.
Yes, and that's all the time we have for this segment of Nighttime, and we're going to be moving on to my Nightlight of the Week. She's a graduate student outside hitter who recently got her career high in kills in a win versus North Texas.
Welcome to HCF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where's that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Oh, brother. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
In case you didn't know, my Nightlight is Lauren Clark. In her first season with UCF, she has made an impact. With 64 kills on the season, 132 total attacks, 2 service aces, and 9 digs. And now we are going into segment 2, which is UCF football news. We're here with Camden and Patrick. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm just doing phenomenal.
Oh, I'm scared because if I don't hold the mic up to my face, they're going to yell at me. So I'm just not moving at all this segment.
Just standing up there, you got it, Cameron. I believe you.
I'm shivering me timbers right here.
So the Knights played Boise State last week in a 18-6 win. It was a bit ugly, I'll say. And there were a lot of things that happened in that game. So overall, I'll start with you guys. Just general thoughts on the game. What do you think? Anything about it that stood out to you?
I'm looking at you. I don't want to start.
Well, we looked pretty bad on offense, I would say, for most of the game. And it really is unfortunate that JRP went down with an injury. I'm glad our kicking game was able to bail us out. And there's not really much else to it. Boise State's a pretty decent squad. They lost to Washington and got murdered in the first week of the season, but they're not that bad. But they're also not that good. This should not have been that close for me personally.
You should have heard Tyler tout in Boise State. We were watching it together. He's like, dude, Boise State's really good. I had to like calm him down. I was like, I don't know about that one, Tyler. And so, it was.
Yeah, I know, Tyler, you mentioned this earlier. The red zone possessions really stuck out to you as like a concern for the team. Can you tell us about that?
Obviously, it was turnovers. We kept turning the ball over the red zone, not capitalizing. There were 2 interceptions that just bounced right off the hands of our wide receivers, which is not JRP's fault, obviously. I know we harp on him a lot on this show, myself especially, but that was not on him, all right? He had, for all intents and purposes, a pretty solid game. Now, as you mentioned earlier, Patrick, JRP was injured, and now we have a new quarterback coming in, Timmy McClain, transfer from South Florida. What should we be expecting from him, do you think? Is it going to be a major downgrade, or maybe there's some hope with him?
Well, I think there's hope when anybody can come in and they haven't played for us, and they're coming from another school. There's plenty of hope, plenty of optimism. But when it comes to UCF football and quarterbacks that aren't JRP, wherever else they are, they seem to play better. And when they're for us, I feel like we wish that JRP was still back out on the field. Last year, when JRP went down after the Tulane game, or maybe in the Tulane game, before we played them again in the championship, a lot of fans did not want JRP to be the starting quarterback. It was a hot topic throughout the entire year. But then, it's kind of like be careful of what you wish for, because when he was not out there on the field, this team did not look as sharp, and offensively we could barely move the ball. When JRP is out there, he is definitely one of the better quarterbacks, I think, that UCF can give us. So I'm looking forward to Timmy McClain, but I think I'd rather still have JRP, obviously.
I do want to say about JRP, we do hate on him a lot, but he was graded as, I believe, like top 5th or 6th in quarterback rating in this last week, even with the 2 turnovers, which I don't know how that stat works, but still, we're losing a lot of production there. Obviously, I don't think Timmy's as good as a runner, but he is left-handed, as Isaiah was pointing out. I did know that, and I'm also left-handed, which makes him my new favorite quarterback. I remember watching him in the spring game, and I was like, oh, yeah, I hope this guy gets some playing time. So lefties for life.
Well, I didn't say that when I watched him during the spring game, but as a fellow lefty, I mean, I guess, got to hold out hope. So I guess one little bright spot from this game, though, is, of course, our kicker, Colton Boomer. He was Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week, and he was just, let me tell you, automatic. He was our leading scorer, and, of course, hit a game-winning field goal. So, Maddie, what do you think about Boomer? As having a kicker like this is such a big deal, I would say, for a team, especially with our history as a program.
Yeah, I think having a good, reliable kicker just makes everything easier because, when you don't get a touchdown, you can still kick a field goal. You have that reassurance that you will score some points. And Boomer is 18 for 19 in his career. He had 3 field goals in the win against Boise State. So I think being able to rely on somebody with a boot like that is a very, very real thing for the Knights, and it's going to be useful for the rest of the season, especially with a new starting quarterback next week. I feel like we might struggle in the red zone again a little bit because it's going to be a new quarterback. We don't really know what to expect yet, but I think we're going to be relying on Boomer when JRP is out. And then I actually did want to touch on, we're playing Villanova next week. What can the coaches do, you think, and the staff do to make things easier for Timmy McClain as he acclimates Camden? Do you have any idea?
I know Jalen Brunson isn't walking in that door for Villanova. So
Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, the basketball player. So
okay.
This should be pretty easy.
I got that.
One of those tune-up games. It's kind of like what you're trying to see if you're playing one of those cupcake teams. Honestly, just simplify the playbook. I mean, try to give him some easy throws, get him some completions, get him settled into the game. Because the most important thing is now, if he's going to be the quarterback for a couple of weeks, is getting him those reps before we do have to play Baylor, because I know we have that coming soon. So just get him the reps, get him to get out there on the field, make some easy throws, let him settle himself in.
Yeah, we have Kansas State after Villanova. I mean, essentially for this upcoming game, we could have like a donut playing quarterback and we would be just fine. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the coaches have to do much for Timmy this week. But against Kansas State's ranked 15th right now. That's probably going to be some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I think the big thing to see Timmy's success during this absence with JRP is we're going to be seeing UCF rely on the run game a lot more. And our run game has been great with RJ Harvey, and they've been very creative with end arounds and outside runs. Now, thankfully, if there was a game for a guy with little to no experience playing college football to start, it would be this one. So I think Villanova, we should win. Hopefully Timmy just looks comfortable out there, not panicking. And one little complication, though, is he is left-handed. So traditional bootlegs and everything in the playbook that are designed for a right-handed quarterback are now going to have to be inversed. And that is a very real complication that people don't often consider or really even think about, because why would you? So anyway, that is all the time we have for this segment when it comes to UCF football. And now I'm going to talk about my nightlight, who she's been on this show many a times before. She's a soccer player. I'll bet you know who she is. We'll see you after the break. If you didn't know, my nightlight was Caroline Delisle, goalie for the women's soccer team. She is just a superstar. She has been with the Knights for quite some time now. This is her final year, I believe, so we'll be sad to see her go. Hopefully she has one more great season. But yes, Caroline Delisle.
Yes, and now we're going to be back into our segment 3, and we're still with the same guest, in case you didn't know. And we are going to be talking our winners and losers of college football week 2. And I want to start with Patrick. Give me your winner. Tell me about Quinn Ewers in Texas.
My winner is obviously Quinn Ewers in Texas. I chose them to beat Alabama last week on the show, and y'all looked at me like I was crazy. And I pretty much honestly predicted exactly what happened. Quinn Ewers balled out. He is a beast. I think he could be a Heisman candidate, actually, if they can continue this success, especially in the Big 12. I mean, I think they can roll through the rest of that conference.
I'm in shambles, dude.
Yeah, you should be. I don't think Oklahoma is at all could be on any sort of level that Texas was last Saturday.
Okay.
When Alabama needed to get the ball, to get the ball, they couldn't get it back late in the fourth quarter. That's a sign that Texas is a team to not be messed with.
Oh yeah,
you watch a Joe Pop
is that right?
Oh yeah, we talk about the same things over here.
Listen, I hope you keep that same energy come Red River, because I'll be there. I'll be at that game, and Dylan Gabriel's going to play in that game. And when he wins and beats Texas, I would like a full apology.
Dude, he sounds like he's suiting up for the team. What position you playing that day?
Bench, same as our basketball.
Same as last night. You and me,
yes, sir.
ride the bench. That's what I'm talking about.
Look, Quinn Ewers, he cut his mullet, and now he has this weird-looking buzz cut, and he gets no women because of it, and he's just out there. He's just out there playing ball. He's focusing on the team. He's got a weird haircut, and
you know what he gets?
I think that's a Heisman candidate if I've ever seen one.
He gets money, I'll tell you that, because you know what? He's an Ohio State product, and that guy just took the bag and left. So let's not forget about that. IO.
Okay, and then speaking of Alabama, Tyler, you had your loser, Alabama quarterback. Take it away.
Jalen Milroe. What happened? I just needed, if there was any game I needed you to perform and win, it was this one. And you let me down. Oh my goodness. He just put up an absolute stinker. Quarterback was a big question for Alabama going into this season. They had Mac Jones and Tua and then Bryce Young. And now, who's this new guy going to be? Jalen. We never heard of him really before. He played 2 games last year when Young was hurt. And then he comes in, just throws 2 terrible interceptions, keeps getting sacked, can't hit the broadside of a barn. If I'm a Bama fan, I'd be very concerned long term for this season, because Jalen Milroe is not the answer at quarterback. So I wanted him to be benched. Bring in Ty Simpson. Anyone, just get him off this team.
So Camden, what should be next for Alabama? Should they bench him?
Guys, let's stop. Come on. I mean, as long as Jalen Milroe is like capable, they're gonna be fine. They still have, compositely speaking, the best roster in college football, and that's factual. A capable quarterback.
Wait, hold
Yes.
up. I have a question. I have
Yes.
a question.
I might answer the question.
Is Nick Saban dead?
No,
Did he
stop.
die?
No, stop. Let's
Is
not
he
do this.
alive?
I know what you're doing here.
No. Okay.
We're not doing this, guys. Come on. He's gonna still win 11 games this year. All right. You're gonna tell me that LSU, after how they looked against Florida State, is gonna go in there to Tuscaloosa and beat him? No. All right. You're gonna tell me who else they got?
I agree with you. Okay,
so,
That's why I asked.
so you're also doing
I'm saying
the whole,
he's still
yes,
alive.
Okay.
He's
I
still
thought you were
alive.
trying to
This
get
is
me to
amazing.
get riled up.
Alabama
No.
will not
Yes.
be bad.
They still have the best roster as long. I mean, they'll figure it out. They're going through similar things with Georgia and Ohio State. It's unfortunate that they had to play Texas. All right. If Ohio State would have played Texas, they probably would have gotten beaten like that too. Same with Georgia. I mean, okay, with Georgia might be better. Let me stop on that.
Yeah.
But no, let's just calm down, Tyler.
Is Alabama going to make the playoffs still?
Hold.
I wouldn't choose
Hold.
them to.
I'm holding
but-
on that.
but
I
they're
would be
still a
surprised
really good team.
if they win out. Are we really going to be surprised? No, because we're going to be like, oh, Nick Saban every year. It's the same thing. Like, let's hold on Alabama a little bit.
What about Texas's chances for the rest of the year?
Probably the second best chances to make the playoff. I mean, they just have to beat Oklahoma and they're in probably. But odds are, I saw this. Told you, Tyler. They're probably going to lose like Texas Tech. It's just typical Texas faction.
Typical Texas.
To win a huge game and then just be like, oh, darn, they play like Wyoming this week or somebody. They might lose. I'm not going to lie.
It will happen. It is guaranteed.
Guarantee.
So, are we declaring Texas back or no?
No.
I don't want to play this game.
Well, Tyler,
This is a
you're
stupid
so
argument.
biased. I can't even take you seriously. So, Camden Patrick, is Texas back?
Texas is officially back. No, this is ridiculous. I'm going to put everything I own on Texas making the playoff this year. Dude, I've said that Quinn Ewers is a Heisman candidate. I've said that Texas is back. Looking at their schedule, they just need to take care of Oklahoma, and you said that they might trip up against Texas Tech.
Or
I mean,
Wyoming.
we'll see. I mean, there's a ton of Big 12 teams. Wyoming, not one of them, of course. I like Texas's chances. I think that they recruit well with Sark leading the way. I think that's a really good team. I love what I saw from them on Saturday. I think that's a playoff team.
Yeah, and everything you said was true, but they could still drop 2 games, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, now, Camden, I want to hear your winner or loser. I'm not sure which one you have, but you're
I
going
got
to
a great
surprise
one.
me.
Just you wait. All the prep I did for the show, it's coming right now. I'm going to give
Okay.
a cop-out answer. The winner is the entire conference of the Pac-12. They have 8 ranked teams in the top 25.
yeah.
Do you guys realize that? Nobody else has more than 5. They are dominating right now in the top 25, and they have 6 quarterbacks. You've probably heard this. They have 6 quarterbacks, their top 6 quarterbacks, that could start probably anywhere else in the country.
Okay, but is the Pac-12 really a winner considering they won't be here next year?
Yes.
This
Okay.
is their
This season,
strong
they
side.
are winner as of week
There
3.
was never,
Current
there was
winner,
never a
long-time
better way
loser.
to go out than like this.
Right now, they're all going to beat each other up, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But right now, this is the strongest conference, and if you're up at 10:30 at night, why shouldn't you be on a Saturday night? Watch some Pac-12 football. Let me tell you, Pac-12 After Dark, it's special.
Okay, so which teams from the Pac-12 are going to make the playoffs?
All of them.
All of them.
Just USC. Just USC.
Can I give
if
you
we're
mine?
being honest.
I'll give you
Okay,
mine. It's
go ahead.
Washington because of how they've looked. I feel like Washington, when they play off, like if they have their best offensive game, they could keep up with Caleb Williams. And I lean towards their defense being a little bit better than USC's. Even though USC is improving, I would say Washington will be a sleeper right now.
I think Washington is a good pick. I'm not going to argue too much against them, but I would have to go with USC being my pick. I like Lincoln Riley. They got so close last year. As long as they don't trip up against any other team. That Tulane loss really sucked for them last year in the Cotton Bowl, but I think they're on guard against any lower level teams that might trip them up. So I like them with Caleb Williams. I think he's a better quarterback than Michael Penix Jr. But Penix Jr. is also a really good quarterback. So no hate to him.
Big Ten product. Big
Okay,
winner.
and now we're going to go into my winner. I picked the Miami Hurricanes. They beat Texas A&M 48-33. Tyler Van Dyke was very impressive, and that's another win for the ACC against the SEC. So, Tyler, do you think Miami has a chance this season to do anything?
I think Miami can really make some noise in the ACC this year. Tyler Van Dyke is the big reason I believe this. Last year, very early on in the season, Tyler Van Dyke got a lot of hype as first-round draft pick material in the NFL. And then, well, he kind of sucked, which is a nice way of putting it. Though now, year 2 with Mario Cristobal, and this is his, I believe, 3rd year or 4th year starting for Miami. I'm not 100% sure, but to see him come out against an SEC opponent and throw for 5 touchdowns and completing well over 70% of his passes, I think that is a huge sign of improvement and a great indicator that Miami can maybe compete for the ACC title Clemson, while I am low on them, is still a very talented team. So that's going to be a very interesting question, and can they get over that hump? But those are my thoughts on it. Guys over the couch, what about you? What do you think about Miami so far?
Can we agree that Texas A&M is just so sorry and so disappointing?
Thank you.
What are they doing? Like, they recruit, like, didn't they have the best recruiting class last year?
Yeah, number 1.
Jimbo, and he's going to get paid, what, $100 million bajillion the next 10 years? It's
somewhere around there.
It's insane. You guys talk about highway robbery. That's right there. You got to go investigate Texas, because Texas A&M, something's going on there.
Okay, and now we have to end on a loser because we all here are haters. Patrick, give me your Nebraska takes.
Well, it definitely sucks for Nebraska that they've lost to Minnesota and Colorado this year. Colorado is going to be good, but Minnesota, I don't know so much about them. When you brought Matt Rule in, you wanted him to kind of change the culture and change everything, but you just keep turning the ball over. You can't take care of it, and you can't score any points, and that's kind of depressing, I'd imagine, for any Nebraska Cornhusker fans, although they're probably used to it. Matt Rule turned around Baylor and Temple, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he will turn around Nebraska eventually. But for right now, they just looked like one of the worst teams in their conference in Big Ten, and I don't see any hope in the near future for them.
No, yeah. Nebraska, it's kind of the same thing. I've never met a Nebraska fan in my life. I know they're passionate there at that fan base.
Well, you live in Florida.
I mean, that's a good point. I have never been to Nebraska, but never seen a fan. I don't know if they exist, but it's Matt Rule might just be the reincarnation of Scott Frost. They keep losing like the way that they did against Minnesota, and he might be out the door soon.
Okay, we got to get into our primetime picks of the week. It is Minnesota at UNC. UNC is favored by 7.5 points. Guys on the couch, who are you picking?
Give me the team with the better quarterback. I like Drake May.
Give me the team with the better quarterback. I want Minnesota. No, I'm just kidding. This is really the best game of the week. This is crazy.
Well, we had Florida, Tennessee, but that was mid against mid.
I don't see this being competitive after UNC looked kind of shaky against, who did they play last week?
Appalachian State.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like they should look a little bit better against Minnesota.
But that's why it could be a close game, because
wait, the line is 7.5.
Yeah.
Actually, give me that too.
I would take the 7.5 also. I actually can't because I am an intern for UCF, but I might.
So is Patrick.
Encourage people to take the 7.5 points.
We don't gamble.
No, we don't.
This isn't bets.
No, that's next show.
That's next show.
Okay, Tyler, go ahead.
I'm a Minnesota boy. I love Minnesota, but I will be going with UNC this week.
Come on.
Drake May, I love him. He's a great quarterback. I think he'll do great things in the NFL, and I'll even go so far. UNC will definitely cover this spread.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go Minnesota because
not again.
I don't know. I think I think they can keep it competitive. You know, UNC's defense is not good, so that's all the time we have for this week of Nighttime. Thank you so much to my amazing guests who carried and Tyler Brownrigg, and we will be back next week. So see you later.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap.